Point Spread Weekly is our digital magazine from the Vegas Stats and Information Network, designed to help pro and college football bettors alike. Look at that. Crackman, Bill Krackomberger, heavily engrossed in the magazine right now.
Reading the stats on tonight's game.
There you
Buffalo
go.
has allowed more than 1,000 passing yards in the last 3 games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, just one of the many nuggets of information in Point Spread Weekly. 72 pages strong this week, again, for college and pro football bettors. This week's issue, including highlights like Brent Musburger himself looking for value in Super Bowl contenders, and Steve Makinen analyzing 6,048 college football games involving top 25 ranked teams to uncover betting trends. That and so much more. Jeff Fogle breaking down the Monday Night Football matchup as well. Point Spread Weekly. It is free. Yeah, that's right. I said free by signing up at vsin.com/subscribe. Football free for all. If I could wrest Crackman away from Point Spread Weekly.
Sorry,
That's okay. You're all right. You just keep on doing your thing.
Good.
Warren Sharp from Sharp Football Analysis, sharpfootballstats.com. Great analytics sites. And, of course, from Rotoworld, Evan Silva, who was, he had a thing while we were talking a second ago, but he's back. Evan, let's roll into a couple matchups, and let's keep these brief, gentlemen. Let's get to a couple games here. Evan, what do you got next?
Yeah, so you guys were talking about in the last segment, why are totals up? Why is scoring up? I think, and you guys made some great points. I think another reason would just be because passing is up, and passing is a more efficient way to play. I mean, just look at what is the average yards per pass attempt? It's around 7, and what's the average yards for a rushing attempt? It's around 4. And also passing, when you don't get completions, it stops the clock. So I think that is another, and I mean, it's probably, the answer is probably at multiple levels, multiple reasons why scoring would be up. But I think that would also be a factor. And I can transition that into this Redskins-Seahawks game. The total is, in the 45, 44 range. Yeah, mostly 45s. And I'm interested if this game could be a sneaky bet to go over, because both of these teams here, I think, are going to be very pass-oriented. The Seahawks have become very pass-oriented. They've, it takes them a while. It seems like it takes them a while every year, but they realize what their identity needs to be, and that is to throw the football. We're seeing a totally different Russell Wilson right now. He's on pace for almost 600 pass attempts. That is not a number that he has ever approached in his career.
Wow.
And they just do not have any ability to run the ball right now. And he is, he's balling. He's playing out of his mind. Like, he was absurd last week against the Texans. He was absurd the week before against the Giants. And then on the other side, the Redskins don't have a great running game. I mean, they've decided that their best back is Chris Thompson, and I certainly agree with them. And he's a pass-catching specialist. And the Seahawks had some struggles early in the year on run defense, but in the last month, they've held opposing running backs to 3 yards per carry even. So they've got that figured out. So I think that this is an interesting game that might have a shot to go over and just involve a lot of pass attempts.
Interesting take on that, because obviously, and you make a great point about Chris Thompson, Kirk Cousins being failed by his crew of wideouts, just no production. Why the Redskins thought this new old Redskins administration, the non-Scott McCloughan Redskins administration of Bruce Allen and Daniel Snyder and crew, thought that getting rid of Deshaun or letting Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon go would not have ramifications in their wideout crew. I don't know why, but Kirk Cousins getting no production from his wideouts. Jordan Reed is made of paper mache. He can't stay in the lineup. So Kirk Cousins really with a dearth of weapons, and I really do worry about the Skins and these offensive line injuries. They had nobody, no Brandon Scherf, no Trent Williams, the 5-time Pro Bowler. Spencer Long, their starting center, was out against Dallas. Even Morgan Moses, who played, he was on 2 bum ankles. I really do worry about that Skins offensive line. Warren, I'm curious, what do you think about this?
Oh, I definitely agree. It is a problem heading out to Seattle, playing in that environment where communication is difficult along the offensive line to begin with. And You have a huge win for Seattle last week. That energy is going to be present in the stadium this weekend against the Redskins. The issue becomes, too, I think when you have trouble along the offensive line, you're going to tend to want to check down a little bit, and that tends to come to running backs a lot of the times. And so that's not a terrible option for the Redskins because they have the number one most efficient running back passing game with Chris Thompson, the best in the NFL. Here's the problem. They're going up against Seattle. Seattle ranks number 3 in efficiency defensively against opposing running backs out of the backfield. The Redskins formerly have played the 49ers, who were terrible. They ranked 27th defending running backs out of the backfield. The Eagles rank 11th, a little bit better, and the Cowboys rank 31st in defending running backs out of the backfield. So 2 of the bottom 6 teams in the NFL the last 3 weeks. Now they go up against a team with a great defense against protecting against running backs out of the backfield. So I think that's going to be a problem for the Redskins. I am worried about their offensive line. Evan makes a great point, though, about the amount of passing attempts that could exist in this game. That obviously would be conducive towards an over. But these offensive line woes are pretty dramatic, and the Redskins look like they're going to be without Jordan Reed. Now, I like his backup a lot. I think Vernon Davis has proved he's a capable NFL backup as a tight end, but it is going to be a challenge for them going in and producing solid points to be able to compete with the Seattle Seahawks defense in this game. And Seattle's offense is just starting to click. The Redskins defense is not as great maybe as statistics, as early season statistics indicated. They've played a difficult schedule, but their defense hasn't been quite playing at the same level as they started out the season with. So fascinating game, but a difficult call right now with all the injuries.
An interesting game for sure. One of the 3 Sunday afternoon games this week in Week 9. Again, a week with 6 teams on bye, so a shortish schedule and only 3 afternoon games. One of the other afternoon games, though, doesn't get more fascinating than this because you have the whole Ezekiel Elliott matter behind the scenes. Will he play? Won't he play? We still do not yet have a definitive answer as to whether Ezekiel Elliott will be in the lineup this weekend or not. Right now, Kansas City and Dallas. Dallas is it's really a consensus pick'em. You might see some Dallas -1s, but really it's a pick'em. The total has moved sharply. I use that word perhaps with a wink in my eye, with a little glint in my eye, from 48.5 to 51. Evan, your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, this should be an awesome game to begin. It's also a game where we're not going to have to deal with any weather concerns. There were a lot of weather concerns last week, but this one will be at Jerry World, indoors, nice and comfortable. Dak Prescott. So without Ezekiel Elliott, I think that this offense is going to fall very much more onto the shoulders of Dak Prescott. And I believe that Dak Prescott is up to the task. And I also think that he should be particularly up to the task against this severely overrated Chiefs defense that has held its own at home in terms of points allowed recently, but in 6 of the Chiefs' last 7 games on the road, 6 of 7, they've given up 27 points or more. If you look at just Football Outsiders DVOA metrics, I mean, they are a bottom 10 defense right now. They are 20th against the pass, and they are 31st against the run. So I think that this has a chance to be a back-and-forth shootout. That is obviously reflected in the total. Dez Bryant, if Dak Prescott is going to kind of shoulder more of the load here, and I think that he will, Dez Bryant will he will be the player that he brings along with him. So the Chiefs have one good corner, Marcus Peters. He only plays left cornerback. And Dez Bryant only runs 27% of his routes at left cornerbacks. So that leaves Dez Bryant to match up with the Chiefs' bad cornerbacks 73% of the time. Another notable nugget here I like, especially for quarterbacks that are mobile, and we're getting more and more of them into the league, and they're having a lot more success at this point than the statuesque pocket passers. With Dak Prescott facing off against the Chiefs, who last year were top 3 in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. This year, they're allowing the 5th most rushing yards to quarterbacks. And I think that a big reason for that is because they play so much man coverage. And in man coverage, players that are being used in coverage turn their back to the defense, they have to go cover their guys. So that will leave gaps in the middle of the field. On the other side, this Cowboys defense is quietly getting better, but this Chiefs offense has been really good all year. And another thing that I've noticed is that Tyreek Hill this year has crazy home road splits. I don't know if they're going to keep up. It's probably just small sample variance, but he's had 4 big games so far this year and 4 quiet games. All 4 of his big games have come on the road. And, you kind of add it up, like at Jerry World, on the turf, in this game with the high total. I think that this could be a game where Ty Freak bounces back up again and is able to have one of his patented big games. And then Travis Kelce, of course, is always very difficult for defenses to slow down. And, this will be – because this is going to be a heavily watched game. This is Alex Smith's opportunity to kind of reassert himself. People were talking about him as an MVP candidate in the first month and a half. Haven't heard about that as much recently. But this is an opportunity for him to reassert himself into the MVP race.
All Tyreek fantasy owners nodding their head silently like, yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about with the splits and the on-again, off-again performance from him. And what you said about Football Outsiders, yes, Chiefs defense, bottom third in DVOA. And as Aaron Schatz, the creator of Football Outsiders, said himself, sadly for the Chiefs, Eric Berry, still a thing. And as long as he is not there, that is going to affect that defense. Last question on Kansas City Dallas, Bill. I'll come to you. Also a big move on the total from 48.5 to 51. You a part of that?
No,
Okay.
We're not a part of it, and don't really see anything right now on that. And it's funny, I always keep the Pinnacle opener on my Don Best screen, which is a live odds screen. And Pinnacle opened up 51 under 14, so I didn't see that move. So maybe Chris put that out as an opener, and I just didn't see it, though. But no, these lines are being set higher and higher, unfortunately, for guys like Warren and I.
All right. Football free-for-all. Evan Silva from Rotoworld. Evan, we bid you adieu. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks so much, guys, and good luck this week.
You too. We'll come back. Warren Sharp, Bill Krackomberger. Maybe Warren has some stuff to say about Kansas City, Dallas, and I want to give him final 2 questions. Which is the big favorite they believe is most likely to lose outright, and which is the one game they want no part of whatsoever? On the way, the football free-for-all and numbers game here at VSiN.
It's a numbers game, live from the tip of the strip in Las Vegas. Get your fill of numbers even after the show is over by following the crew on Twitter, @BeatingTheBook and @VSiN Live.